what causes somebody to be a good idea selector as opposed to idea generator?
Yeah, so this is actually a revelation for me from one of our extraordinary students, Justin Berg, who's now in the Stanford faculty. Justin was struck by the fact that there are tons of great ideas that never see the light of day.
Yeah.
And he went through the history of ones that almost didn't, like Star Wars and E.T. were both rejected over and over again.
Yeah.
There was some book that 12 publishers shot down, and they said it was too long for a children's book. I don't know about you, but Harry Potter was too short for my taste. And Google was rejected. There was a chance for Excite to buy it for less than $2 million, and they were like, "Nah, we're not interested." And every domain, you have great ideas that nearly didn't see the light of day. And it made Justin wonder how many more great ideas literally never got adopted.
Yeah.
So he spent a lot of his career so far studying how you get better at idea selection. And what he finds is that most of us are bad idea selectors for two reasons. One is we're too close to our own ideas, and we're way too positive on them. So knowing that an idea belongs to you is almost a guarantee that you're not qualified to judge whether it's a good one or not. And
no, I don't like that part.
Yeah, sorry. But this is why we have fellows, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So, no, I think that on the flip side, though, managers, in particular middle managers, tend to be the most negative because they can see all the bad things that will happen if they bet on an idea that doesn't work. Whereas, if they pass on a good idea, they're probably never even going to find out. No one else will either. So what Justin wanted to know is how do you get managers to be better at judging new ideas and more open to novelty? And he found that there's a simple way to do it, which I would encourage all of you to try. I have found this really powerful. All you do is you spend 5 minutes before you evaluate a new idea from someone else. You spend 5 minutes brainstorming about your own ideas. And he found that was enough to make you much more accurate at selecting new ideas and recognizing them because it puts you in a creative mindset. When you're just judging ideas, it's easy to be evaluative and look for reasons to say no. If you spend a few minutes brainstorming, you are invested in unusual possibilities. And I think that's a pretty simple way to start.
And a couple of the things you talk about, you would early on get prepped and trained up for choice. Like I was interested in differentiation from the firstborn. You find a niche. That's a big choice that you've made. If somebody is not into making choices, is there any advice you'd give them if they sort of shy away from and say it's hard to make choices like that, it's hard to select ideas? Is there any advice you'd give them on how to improve their choice-making capability, or it's almost their willingness to make choices?
I would tell them to go home. No. Yeah, actually, so there is an amazing TED Talk which I gave.
Like really, really amazing?
No, all joking aside, I spoke at TED in February, and the talk will be posted tomorrow. And I purposely said nothing that was in that talk tonight so that there would be no redundancy. But now there's going to be redundancy.
All right, that's okay. You can blame it.
It's all Roger's fault.
Yes.
The most striking thing to me was after sitting down with a lot of great originals, especially in the tech space. So Elon Musk, Larry Page, Jack Dorsey. One of the consistent themes was that as I talked to them about where they were at when they thought about making the choice to do something original, all of them said, I was terrified. And that just flew in the face of my assumption that originals were fearless. And what separated them from you and me was that they had the conviction and the courage to press forward. And they all said a different version of the same thing, which was they said, look, we were afraid of failing, but we were even more afraid of failing to try. And you can fail by starting a business that goes bankrupt, but you could also fail by never starting a business at all.
Yeah.
And I think what they understood that a lot of us overlook is that in the moment, we are way more scared of action than inaction, right? Like the idea of taking a risk, of championing something that might be unpopular, we can imagine embarrassing ourselves and all sorts of negative social and financial outcomes. But over time, our biggest regrets are not our actions, they're our inactions.